2018 Espy Awards, everybody!
Woo! Yay! My name's Danica Patrick, and I am the first feminine person to ever host the Espys. And naturally, we got them all wrong.
And naturally, there was a big shitstorm of criticism afterwards.
So naturally, we at the Indoorfins have decided to re-hand out a lot of these Espys. So, welcome to the Indoorfins, and welcome to the 2018 Endorphin Espy-ins.
Endorphinies.
The Endorphinies.
Yeah. Just came up with that.
The Endorphinies, live from the basement. Hi.
Hi.
That's Ethan.
And that's Tuesday.
And together we are the Endorphins, here to have fun and talk crap about whoever and whatever we want in sports world, because we're not sponsored by anybody and I don't have a script, so we're just going to talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Indeed.
We got some things to dig into. We got a little bit of the NFL. We're obviously going to get into the ESPYs. There's some big news in Major League Baseball that we've got to go over. I'm still laughing at LeBron James. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, we're going to talk about how Kawhi has a new team, too.
Yep.
Kawhi has a new team. And nobody's happy.
Yep.
I've never seen an NBA trip where they're literally like, nobody really wants this. Nobody wants to be here. Yeah, Toronto. It's a little cold, but we got a great public transit system. And Drake likes to hang out every once in a while, so Kawhi's like, yeah. And then you send DeMar DeRozan to the Spurs, and Popovich is like, you can play basketball, right? And DeMar DeRozan is like, yeah.
You have heard of me, haven't you?
Right. It's just kind of like, you have heard of, like, the Spurs literally have, like, been in the playoffs, for, like, 20 years straight, I think? It's a ridiculous record. I'm just saying it off the top of my head. But, like, it was a ridiculous record. Greg Popovich is an amazing coach. And it's hilarious to me that it's probably not even on Popovich that Kawhi Leonard is leaving. It's really not. There's no way in the history of, like, everything that's going on with the Spurs. There's no way that it's Greg Popovich solely being the reason why Kawhi Leonard is leaving. That just crazy.
And on the opposite end, DeMar DeRozan getting dunked on by ownership of the Toronto Raptors.
You want to play hardball? I'm game. See what happens when we send you to Texas.
Which is the opposite of Canada.
Pretty much. There's no maple syrup. There's no Drake.
No liberals.
Oh my God!
I finally got that to work.
Ethan, how long have you been waiting to use that?
I just found it on my phone.
You're the worst. Oh my God. So, Ethan found an air horn.
I did.
It's banned.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding. So, in all
Cars
seriousness,
banned from this household.
okay, so in all seriousness, we are recasting the Espys. Danica Patrick, she's a nice lady. She got through the show very well. I have been a very public non-defender of people who race cars for a living. Danica Patrick has done a lot for the sport and for the women of the sport. I don't necessarily agree with her tactics. I certainly don't like her sponsor. But, thank you, Danica, for being the first woman to ever host the ESPYs. So,
you know who she's dating now?
No.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Aaron Rodgers had to get away from Olivia Munn. She was messing his life up. I heard she didn't want him to talk to anybody in his family during the season and stuff. Like, she was strange sometimes. And here's the thing, celebrity relationships, you never really know. You never really know what these people are like, because you only see them through the screens and all that kind of stuff. So you never really know what really is happening in the background. But I'll tell you what. I wish I could have dated Olivia Munn.
Do you want to know something else? What?
I'm just looking at that.
Yeah, speaking of gossip, the 49ers' new star quarterback was
Jimmy Garoppolo, no less. Let's just put it out there that
Jimmy
they
Garoppolo.
went to Jimmy Garoppolo and said he's the star now.
hits the town with adult film star Kiara Mia.
I don't know what this lady looks like, but she gotta be cute. Yo, this lady is 41.
41, and
How
he
old
is
is-
27.
Okay, that is actually my question here. Oh, and the first thing that popped. Oh, okay. I guess we're not looking up that one while the podcast is going on.
We're in TMZ in LA in Beverly Hills together. The porn star, which I disagree with their, titles, but whatever. Gently takes Jimmy G's arm as they walk out of the red.
They wrote Jimmy G.
Yeah, they wrote Jimmy G.
If you need to know who to take serious, it is definitely not TMZ.
Well, to be fair, ESPN's used that nickname too.
Damn it.
As they walk out of the restaurant, in a final snippet, they jump into a car together while the paparazzi pepper him with questions.
I have one question. How did they meet? What is Jimmy Garoppolo doing that he's hanging out with adult film stars? And if anybody wants to jump on this train and be like, yada, yada, yada about this lady, just want to make it very, very clear that this woman has entered contracts where she gets paid handsomely to do what she does. You can talk crap about her all she wants. She didn't, and I'm not even going to throw story. I was going to try and go an entire podcast without bringing up Stormy Daniels. It did not happen. I am sorry, but they are not the same. And I'm just leaving it there. Jimmy, good luck to you. Relationships can be weird sometimes.
What? Apparently the cameraman was screaming ridiculous LeBron James questions at him.
Can you trust TMZ to actually just do the news from start to finish? Like, it's cool that you told me this, but why are we screaming about LeBron James or Jimmy Garoppolo? Like, come on.
Oh my gosh. And that's what Sports Illustrated wrote, what you talked about. It's not just the president who enjoys the company of adult film star.
Damn.
Athletes have always loved spending time with XXX actresses as well. You have to respect Garoppolo's boldness. In this day and age of athletes going to great lengths to protect their brand, Garoppolo basically said screw it and took a porn star on a date to a popular Beverly Hills
Because that's the thing. People are going to make assumptions about their relationships. People are going to make assumptions about who Jimmy is as a person now. They're going to make assumptions about who this Kiara person is now. Like, everybody's going to act like that they know 110% what's going on in the situation. And that's the thing. You're only going to know what they present to you publicly in the first place. So, publicly, they went out together. In private, who knows what they are and aren't doing. And is it our business? Probably not.
Yeah. You know what would be hilarious? Is if he's like publicly dating her and privately dating some like high profile celebrity or something. And like that's the secret.
I only want this woman to hide that me and Katie Couric are together. Look, Katie doesn't like going out in public. So
yeah.
We had that. I had.
This is an arrangement that we have.
We have a very
agreed upon
arrangement.
Yeah.
There's contracts.
It's signed by everybody.
My litigator was present.
We don't go past second base.
I don't get to like $200 every time I pass go. It's fine.
Yep.
There will be no.
We only go to these certain restaurants.
All right. So
I only because I heard about this on Sirius XM earlier, and that's the only reason why. I was flipping the stations and I heard Jimmy G was spotted outside a restaurant with a porn star, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, just caught my ear. I was like,
All right, so I'm looking at these. I'm looking at the Espy's list.
Okay.
I'm looking at all of these different winners, and I'm gonna start with. Actually, can I start with?
And by the way, I watched the Espys this year, and some of the jokes did fall a little flat. From the like, Danica made fun of Jose Altuve's height. Said,
I mean, she's not that tall.
Well, no, Jose Altuve. She said he was short.
Yeah, but hang on, how tall is Jose Altuve? I don't even
It's
know.
like 5'7" or something.
Yeah, well, he's got a championship ring and she
Yeah.
don't, so she can leave it at home.
She did make fun of herself.
Okay.
She said like I can't remember who she said that was pretending to win all the time. shoot, I had the article that it was a New York Post that went over like all the jokes, but yeah, I watched it. The funniest part to me was she did a parody of I, Tanya, and it was basically me, Danica. And it was her playing both herself and her mom.
Wow.
As like going through racing. And it was a spoof on her as Tanya Harding, but as a race car driver. And had Aaron Rodgers as her boyfriend in the movie. With a mustache.
Oh, man.
It was hilarious.
That's great. Okay, so where I want to start is best fighter. We got Terrence Crawford, the boxer.
Yep.
Y'all out here just robbing. MMA enthusiasts all over the place.
It said best boxer, not best MMA player.
No, it says best fighter.
Oh, it does?
I've got.
Oh, shoot, you're right.
It's got, yeah. And here's the thing. I don't care who. I don't care. I'm just telling you right here, right now. Terrence Crawford, I don't care. He's a world champion in 3 weight classes. I don't care. I don't care because boxing has been off of my radar ever since I decided to watch the movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, where he's a boxer.
Oh my gosh.
It's like family, like his family gets ripped apart. I know what I'm thinking of, and I'm sitting here trying to reference this film. And Southpaw.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why it just like popped in. Look, Southpaw was the most overrated film I ever seen. All right,
overrated.
At me. I can't stand Southpaw. It is so full of boxing cliches it hurts my soul. Okay, it's a good
more
film.
full than Rocky. Well, I guess Rocky was kind of like one of the original
cliches. Yeah. But like it was. You saw where it was going, and you saw where it was going from a million miles away. Like, once you get past the first half hour, the story's already written. Once you get past the first half hour, there's nothing in that movie that's going to surprise you, and it's going to make you very, very upset. I don't know who this Terrence Crawford person is. I'm not saying I'd get in the ring and fight this man, because I will not. But,
I will not.
Can we have a long and hard conversation about Rose Namajunas and her taking out everybody? Everybody. She is in the strawweight division, which is the newest division in the UFC, and the current strawweight champion, 15th on the official UFC pound-for-pound rankings, a black belt in Taekwondo and Karate, a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu, an official record, 11 wins, 3 losses, and if I remember correctly, the last loss that she had in the UFC was to Carolina God, I could never pronounce that lady's name. Carolina Kowalkiewicz? I can't pronounce it. But, fight of the night. 3 rounds, like, toe-to-toe, split decision. And then, after that, defeats Michelle Waterson. She beats Joanna Jędrzejczyk for the strawweight championship and defended it against her later on in April of this year. I like that you guys wanted to put Terrence Crawford up there, but Rose Namajunas took out one of the baddest women on the planet twice. Fight me about it.
He's 33-0.
That's boxing, though. Like, you're not anybody until you're about 30-0 anyway. And who are you fighting your entire career that you just waltz through 30 professional fights? I've always had issues with that.
He had 24 knockouts.
Again, so who's he fighting? Who are his big wins? That's my question every time I hear about a boxer. It's like, okay, well, he's X amount and no losses. Okay, so who has he actually fought that was actually going to give him a competition up to that point in his career? Because even with Floyd, it was like you had to get 20, 25 fights in before you even thought of being like, okay, well, that dude might have had a chance. That dude might have had a chance. That dude was a good fighter. Like, who's he fighting? That's the thing about boxing. Like, you never know who these people are fighting. You never know how good they are. When you're watching an MMA fight, you're like, okay, who are in the big time. These people are both in the big time, and like you get 2 or 3 chances with the UFC, and if you don't win one of your fights, like you're done. Like you're out, and the next person who's up and coming is coming through. Like in boxing, I just feel like you can kind of go for whoever, whenever you want, and then once you get the belts, like even then, like it's always one person holding all the belts. Why can't we have people challenging for these belts? Like it's always the same dude who's always got all of them, and it's like, why are you just plowing through champions? Like it should not be that simple to just wind up with 4 belts. Like the level of high caliber competition in boxing has gone down significantly, and it just makes it so much harder to get behind any of the people who do have belts, because then it's like, okay, but did you fight anybody that we got about? Or it could just be that I don't know anything about boxing anymore. I won't lie. Like the biggest boxer in my house as a child was Floyd Mayweather, and I don't care about Floyd Mayweather.
Well, that's a good point.
Never have cared about Floyd Mayweather. He had one fight. Was it
Manny Pacquiao?
Nah. Who am I thinking of? The dude who he sucker punched about 5 rounds in. There you go. Floyd Mayweather versus Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz was literally the guy that was supposed to be Floyd Mayweather, yes? I don't remember exactly when this fight was. But I remember very distinctly that Victor Ortiz was taking it to Floyd Mayweather. He was getting through his defense. He was messing with him, and Floyd wasn't happy about it. And then he hit him below the belt. Like Floyd got hit below the belt. Yeah. So Victor Ortiz like goes to be like, I'm sorry. He goes to hold out his gloves, and he's like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit you in the crotch. And Floyd Mayweather gives him the whole like dab, gives him the whole like, yeah, all right, I got you, thanks for, apologizing, and then immediately sucker punches him right in the face. Wow. And Victor Ortiz is like, oh, and then Floyd Mayweather hits him again, and Victor drops, and everybody loses their mind. Because they're like, he was just trying to apologize, and he was the better fighter the first 4 rounds, and I can't believe you knocked him out like that. And I'm just like, look, man, when you are in that ring, the referee says protect yourself at all times, right? I don't care if you're trying to apologize to a man. You have one of those giant gloves in front of your face, and you say, hey, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. He got hit in the face, which is the name of the game, is to hit people in the face. And I love Victor Ortiz, and I'm so mad that he didn't get the opportunity to actually knock Floyd Mayweather out that night. But damn.
You think he would have?
I think he
didn't apologize?
I think if he somehow manages to survive that whole exchange and like doesn't get hit in the face that way, I think we're talking about a very different Floyd Mayweather. I think we're talking about a Floyd Mayweather who at that point in his career had only lost to Victor Ortiz.
Well, he was undefeated though.
At that time, yeah.
Okay.
Floyd Mayweather is still technically undefeated. Something I'll never agree with. That just comes with an asterisk. He's a very defensive fighter. He's a counterpuncher. Like he never went after anybody. Like I always wanted to see him like literally swing on guys. But anyway, so best fighter Rose Namajunas. I don't know why we put GSP down there. Like I like him, but he retired, and I understand that he came back. But it's just like it's like watching Brock Lesnar. Like you kind of know it's not really a big deal. Like Brock Lesnar kind of walked through a couple of different guys to get to where he was, and GSP at this point in his career now could probably just show up and do whatever he wanted. He is the welterweight and middleweight champion at one point, but like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
Cause yeah, he went 4 years between fights, vacated the welterweight title, won the middleweight championship over Michael Bisping, and then immediately vacated the title again. Like, I understand why you guys want to put him up there, but it was one fight. Oh, man. And Michael Bisping, love him to death, definitely won't go down as the strongest UFC champion of all time. Definitely got there, and definitely worked his butt off to get there. He's been fighting for a long time. Anyway, I'm done.
Oh,
sorry, Terrence Crawford.
No, you're
sorry, Terrence Crawford. So, best female and male
Excuse me.
Olympian. We're gonna leave Chloe Kim there. When you're 17 and you show up at the Olympics, like, have fun. Like, I'm not taking that from anybody. Male Olympian, Shaun White. I don't know anything about the Winter Olympics. All right. So, Shaun White, I love you to death. You're an amazing snowboarder, as far as I know. You're an amazing skateboarder, as far as I know. I don't know who any of these people are, so we're just leaving you there.
What about Adam Rippon? No, I'm just kidding.
Adam Rippon is.
He was the openly gay Olympic skater. Adam Rippon. R-I-P-P-O-N.
How come nobody tells me these things?
He didn't actually. I don't think he won the gold though. So
That makes me sad.
I don't think he would have qualified.
American figure skater, 2016 national champion. I don't know who Adam Rippon is. I will be. Yo, he won Dancing with the Stars, the first openly gay celebrity to win the competition. Congratulations. From Scranton, Pennsylvania. I don't know what you're thinking.
The Office theme song.
Oh. Get yourself some Dunder Mifflin paper. Yourself that Dunder Mifflin.
Pam.
Bam! Bam! I need
Bears. Beats.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, but him imitating
Battlestar
Dwight
Galactica.
is literally the worst. It's like, it's not a joke to have your identity stolen! And I'm just like, Dwight, it's not that deep. I'm on like season... I know, right? I'm on like season 6, finally. Finally at the part where like Pam is pregnant.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, like it's been taking me so long to like work my way through this show. Like I'm actually like really excited that it's happening this
my
way.
favorite pranks was when they got Randall Park to come in as Jim. And then they replaced the photo with Pam and the kid. And he's like, "What was this?" And he's looked at him. He's like,
my favorite is Jim. He just takes Jim. Not Jim. Andy. Like Jim takes Andy's phone, puts it in the ceiling, and starts calling it, and Andy just loses it. And starts. Yeah, when he punches that hole in the wall, and even Jim was like, he looks in the camera, he's like, "Oh shit, what have I done?"
No, it doesn't.
He's like, I'm not making this prank call anymore. Sorry. Okay, best international women's soccer player. It is so hard to keep up with women's soccer. Like, I just want everybody to appreciate that, like, everything, like, being broadcast, like, here in America is pretty much, like, it. I have a hard time finding any of the feminine teams that are associated with English clubs, like, ever. Can't find that streaming, like, ever at all for anything.
Yeah.
We've got 24 international goals. Oh Lord, she set a record most goals in the women's soccer league at 51. She scored 4 in a match. She scored 17 in a season. This woman is pretty amazing.
Yeah. 17.
Jeez. And she is, 1993. She's 24 at this point in her life. Goodness. Sky's the limit. What's her name? Sam Kerr? Sam Kerr, you can have it. Sam Kerr, you can have it. Best international men's soccer player. Well, if this category ain't the biggest joke of all jokes. So, we voted for Cristiano Ronaldo. That's one. The other candidates were Lionel Messi, Mohamed Salah, and
Pele
Neymar.
Jr. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I said Pele Jr.
Oh my goodness. Pele Jr., a.k.a. Kylian Mbappe. Look, if you really wanted to have this to be even a conversation, then you needed to have Kylian Mbappe there. We need to talk about Modric instead of freaking Ronaldo. Like, I like Ronaldo, but he's not the carrier of that team. And everybody seems to have forgotten that he didn't show up for half of the season for Real Madrid, the reason why they were even as high on the table as they were was because one man named Keylor Navas had a lot of fun making a lot of saves first half of the season because goals were coming from everybody except Ronaldo, and then he scores like 24 in 27 games, which is a ridiculous amount of goals in a short amount of games, yes, but he didn't show up for half the season. And when you don't show up for half the season, you don't get to call yourself the best for the entire year. So yes, I would like for that award to go to Modric. I'd like that to go to Keylor Navas. Would like for it to go to Mbappe, who arguably had a better overall season than Neymar.
Yeah.
Who definitely didn't score as many goals as Cavani or some of his other teammates. But look here, Mbappe is 19, and this dude has grown men who've been playing this game for years and years and years terrified. Mbappe, 19, running down the wing, and the only thing all these central defenders are thinking is, well, we're done for. Just let him in. Just let him pass, and like maybe he'll miss, and then he doesn't. And you're like, oh, okay. So that's 1-0. That's 1-0. NWSL player. We could just leave it at Megan Rapinoe. She's amazing. Sam Kerr got the international women's soccer player. We can leave it there. Best MLS player. Can we just talk about Tim Miller? Is he the goalkeeper for Kansas City?
That's not who won.
That's not who won. That's
Nemanja Nikolic of the Chicago Fire.
Yeah, I'm here for Tim Miller.
Did they name their team after the song?
What?
Chicago Fire?
I don't know what you would. Here's the thing. Remember they had that giant. There was a giant fire in Chicago in like 18.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
it might be a reference to that.
That's true. I was thinking about the band Chicago and the song Fire.
No.
Or that makes sense too. There's also a TV show called Chicago Fire.
Right.
I doubt they named it after that.
Everything in Chicago is on fire. Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, the Great Chicago Fire of October 1871.
Started by a cow. Okay.
I believe they said it started on a barn, yeah.
Started by a cow. I don't know. That was the Scooby-Doo theme song.
Scooby-Doo.
No. It's like, what's new Scooby-Doo?
I don't know anything about golf. So
you don't know any golf. Tiger Woods, y'all.
I don't know anything about golf. Right. Yeah.
Jordan Spieth, yeah, he's been winning lately.
It says the other ones are Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, and Justin Thomas. I don't know any of these people.
Neither of them have been winning.
I don't know anything about golf. I certainly don't know anything about female golfers. So Sung Young Park. Congratulations.
She's been at the top of the leaderboard.
No idea who you are. A world champion in what? It says she's an archer. Why are we talking about her for golf?
Because there's no archery category. There's archery. Are you looking up the right person?
Probably not.
Okay. Or maybe she does both.
Oh, for the South Korean golfer. Here we go. Park Sung-hyun, golfer. Number 1 ranked, clinched Rookie of the Year in 2017. Jeez, this lady's only 24.
Yep.
Making her the first player since Nancy Lopez to win both Player and Rookie of the Year honors in the same season. She won the 2017 U.S. Open by 2 strokes.
Whoop whoop.
Volunteers of America Texas Classic, which just happened very recently, May 6th. Looks like she won by a single stroke. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Women's PGA Championship winner.
Yeah.
U.S. Open winner. Yeah, she sounds like she's dang on great. I don't know anything about.
Hell of a player.
I don't know anything about tennis, or not tennis.
Golf. Speaking of tennis.
Yeah.
Up next, best male tennis player.
I'm so tired of Roger Federer. I love you, Roger Federer, but you're like 38, which in tennis years is like 97.
He's 37.
He's 37 to 38.
He's 37. He's the same age as Serena Williams.
That's right. They're both old in tennis years.
Yeah, but that means they can still both win.
Fine, we'll just leave Roger Federer.
All he does is win.
Whatever. I don't like Roger Federer. I was always a Nadal fan. I was always a Rafael Nadal fan. He was just more passionate and more emotional, and that kind of just like resonated with me.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I like Roger and I like Novak Djokovic.
Novak is a lot of fun too. Andy Murray though. Novak Djokovic versus Andy Murray was always a good match. But Andy Murray.
You remember Andy Roddick?
Huh? I remember Andy Roddick. He won what? Did he win like one major his entire career?
Give him a little more credit than that.
I'm pretty sure he only won one major.
I think
his
he
entire
won
career.
two.
No, I think he only won one U.S. Open. Like, hold on.
He might have won.
He wasn't number one. He was number one at one point in his life. I remember that. Yeah, he won the title at the 2003 United States Open, which would remain his only Grand Slam triumph.
Damn.
Yep. He
sucks.
got himself one. Well, it's better than John Isner. Woo.
He's still playing. Though.
Yeah,
he has a chance.
He didn't make it. Though. He didn't even make it to the final. Then he lost to Kevin
to the
Anderson.
semifinals.
Yeah, he lost to Kevin Anderson in the semifinals.
That sucks.
Not really. I mean,
hilarious.
Andy
Roddick.
Yeah, Andy Roddick.
There was so much. I remember there was a controversy when I was in high school. I was in photography class, and one of the lessons was about Photoshop when it came out. And one of the lessons was like they showed a photo of Andy Roddick on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and it was like they had upgraded his body on the cover of Sports Illustrated, his muscles. Yeah, they had edited it, and that was like one of the controversies back in the day. And so that was a lesson for our photography class. And so they're like, "So class, can you tell what tools were used in this photo of Andy Roddick?" But man, he was very much in the realm of American players like gosh, what's his name? The broadcaster now. The old
McEnroe.
Yeah, McEnroe. He was like McEnroe. He had the temper.
He had a particular temper sometimes.
Yeah. But
I'll never forget like him just like because it's sitting right here and I remember it was the Australian Open and he was like, "You're an idiot. Stay in school or you'll end up being an umpire or an umpire." And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, he went after the refs quite a bit, which was surprising, in the 2000s for players to go after umps.
It's still funny to me that like, what's hilarious to me is in tennis you can like smash your racket against the court and that'll cost you a whole point. Like it'll cost you a serve point, or it's just like I'm mad at my racket. I can be mad at everything in the world. I'm taking it out on my racket and I still lose a point. Like Like, the thing about tennis is that it's such a mental game. Like, you have to be on it mentally 110%. Because even losing your temper will cost you physical points in the game. You know what I mean? Like, I have a lot of respect for tennis players. Andy Roddick did a lot without actually really accomplishing anything. He was always there.
He was. He made it to a bunch of quarterfinals.
He was always, in the last like round of 16, round of 8, and then you'd stick him up against like really great
like Roger Federer.
Yeah. You stick him up against the greats.
Rafael Nadal. He was. Like, I still think he is the same age as Roger Federer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 35.
So he should still be playing, shouldn't he?
He had a lot of injuries.
Okay.
I don't remember if he had elbow or I don't remember what it was.
Well, shoot, I mean, Rafael Nadal had surgery.
Nadal's had a lot of knee surgeries.
Yeah,
that's part of the reason why. Like
he was out for a year. So
that's why he's probably like on his way out of tennis as well. It's just because
I guess Roger Federer's gotten lucky in that respect.
That's another thing. Like Roger Federer just has never. I wouldn't say never, just because of I don't know what's happened the past few years, but I don't think he's ever been like super injured in the same way. Yeah, here we go. Andy Roddick, Australian Open semifinalist 4 different times.
Damn.
French Open made it to the 4th round once. Wimbledon made it to the final 3 times. 2004, 2005, and 2009, which if I remember correctly.
One of those matches went like an insane number of like. Wasn't he involved in one of the longest like back and forths in like one of the 5th sets ever?
I think so.
Or was that... No, I remember John
that,
Isner was involved in like a 20-plus game set or something.
Yeah, and then...
But Andy Roddick was also involved in one of those, too.
Yeah, it was Federer and Roddick.
Yeah.
It was Federer and Roddick and all... What the heck happened in 2009? Hang on. Go back.
We got distracted a little bit.
That's why I wanted to go through this. I just wanted to talk about everything else that was going on. Oh, man, I just had...
We apologize for this trip down
I
memory
don't
lane.
apologize for any of these trips down any of these lanes. Oh, man, I lost it. Hang on. Andy Roddick. So, all right, we will move on from tennis players in about a minute.
Yeah.
I just really need to know who he lost to in 2009. Here we go. Wimbledon final. Oh, Roger Federer defeated Andy Roddick. Yeah, and you're right. It was the longest men's singles final in Grand Slam tournament history because the last set was 16-14.
Wow.
If you go to Wimbledon, you cannot have a fifth set tiebreaker. You have to actually win by 2, so you have to keep serving. You have to keep going. 16-14 sounds like something that would have went on 2 dang on freaking days. Did it?
No, it didn't.
Don't know.
But I do remember the sun was starting to dip a bit.
The fifth set alone lasted an hour and a half.
Yep.
And Roddick lost despite only having his serve broken once.
Wow.
Ooh.
Gosh.
That hurts my soul.
I remember watching that too. I remember the commentators.
Because remember, it was the year after Nadal and Federer had their epic run, and Nadal had beaten Federer on grass, and then Nadal, I think he withdrew this year from the 2009 Wimbledon, and so everybody was like, "Who's gonna step up and take on Roger Federer for this crown again?" Since the actual winner's not gonna be there, and it's Andy Roddick, who you just know is just he had a great match, huh?
The thing, he was that close. Never
had his serve broken the whole time.
Except once.
16-14. It says it was in the last dang on game.
And that was what cost him.
That hurts.
Imagine having one open win 6 years earlier and then having that chance, seeing the news that year saying Nadal.
The news.
No, saying Nadal is not playing, and then you're like,
got this.
And you're making your way. You've won every single game, and you get to the final, and you see across, you're like, Roger Federer is like, all right.
All right. Actually, you can just have that one. I'm sorry, I got so close.
It's the last point. I can't remember if his went out or, Federer won the point.
I actually don't remember, exactly how.
I want to watch it after this, but my goodness.
Okay.
Alright, so back to life, back to reality. Okay. So up here we have best college athlete, Baker Mayfield.
You're gonna have to explain this to me. I don't know anything about it.
He was the one who was doing all those dance moves and stuff. He was playing. Oh, I don't really watch college football, so I'm not gonna explain it. I just know he was the #1 overall pick for Cleveland.
Okay. I know Katie Ledecky is the girl who won a crap ton of Olympic medals, before she went to college.
Where do you see Katie Ledecky?
She has she was a candidate.
Oh, for college. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're just looking at the winners.
Yeah, I'm looking at the winners.
Everybody else who's
the winners are, if you're not first, you're last. No, I'm just kidding.
Look here, Ricky Bobby. Which I don't condone watching. Don't watch that stupid movie, for the record, guys.
Yeah, don't watch it. Don't watch it. Best male action sports athlete, David Weiss, freestyle skiing, which is an amazing sport, and I would never do it because I'm too scared.
Credit to you, David Weiss.
Best female action sports athlete. What is his name? Action Sports.
I don't know.
It's like something that only cool people do.
It's
Are you in
mostly-
action sports?
It's mostly like if you see it at the X Games, it's an action sport.
Yeah.
That's my rule for it at this point. It's my rule for it.
Chloe Kim, obviously, snowboarding.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no to that.
Yeah.
Again, like you're winning Olympic gold medals at 17. Do your thing, kid.
Best jockey, Jose Ortiz. I'm assuming he was the one who
know
won the
anything.
Triple Crown.
Dude, I don't know anything.
Best male athlete with a disability, Mike Schultz, snowboarding.
I don't know anything about disabled sports.
Me neither.
So I can't even talk shit. And since it's kind of the wrong time to talk
Yeah.
shit.
Best female athlete with disability, Brenna Huckabee. Huckabee, snowboarding. If you snowboard, like snowboarding just alone, I could never get the hang of. I got 10 feet slope was my max.
Dude, I would. You know what? I take that back. I would go snowboarding. I just need I need a lot of help.
I could ski,
I'm doing.
and that was it. Skiing was, and I could do it like this. I'd be like angled very slowly.
Lord knows.
So
I'm not doing it.
all right.
So let's get up this list a little bit.
All right, so here are the main events up here. Best WNBA player, Maya Moore.
I'm not arguing with that. Maya Moore has been on fire ever since she like left UConn, and like she was on fire at UConn. So like, not really gonna have an argument with that. As much as I love Candace Parker, not on the same level. As much as I love Skylar Diggins-Smith, not on the same level. Like, it's just not happening that way.
All right, let's go to the ones that we're not gonna have arguments about first, and then we'll get to the ones that are big ones. Best driver, Martin Truex Jr.
I am unabashedly going to tell everybody now, if you're looking for NASCAR coverage, move along.
Yeah. Is Dale Earnhardt even on there?
No!
Oh, did he retire? Oh, shoot, I think he retired.
Dale Earnhardt's dead!
Junior! Damn it! Oh, I'm so sorry. I meant Junior. I meant Junior!
Oh,
I obviously meant Junior. I'm sorry.
I didn't realize. Is Dale Earnhardt Jr. still a driver? I don't know.
No, I meant, is he on the list?
Was he on the... Probably not. He's not that great.
Wow.
What?
Well, actually, you're right. He hasn't won much.
Here we go. You said driver? Yeah, he's not even on there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Martin Truex Jr. It's, I think it's Lewis Force's daughter, Brittany Force.
Oh, shoot. She's on the list?
Yeah.
Did she
does,
win?
She does drive. John Force. I don't know why I just called
Oh, John.
Yeah, but she's the daughter of John Force.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
She apparently
She should have won. Whatever, I don't care.
She's apparently a pretty good driver in her own right.
Well, whatever. She should have won. All right.
Just for being a force.
Yeah, a force to be
Lewis
reckoned.
Hamilton is on there, and Joseph Newgarden, who won the IndyCar Championship in 2017. And Lewis Hamilton for being Lewis Hamilton. I don't know that much about any of these people. I'm picking Brittany Force just because she's a legend.
Yeah.
She's the legacy of a legend, and so
A force to be reckoned with. Oh, I'm sorry.
You know how we like to do it right here. Anyway.
Where's that ham horn? All right.
Okay.
Oh, I
my
tried
God.
to stop it.
I'm so mad at you. I'm so mad at you.
Best
so mad.
NHL player, Alex Ovechkin.
Nope. Give that to Marc-Andre Fleury, taking the Vegas Golden Knights all the way to the took them all the way to the championship series. They did not win, I do not believe.
They did not. They lost 1-4, I believe.
Okay, but he left the Penguins, and they just left him out there, and he's one of the best dang on goalkeepers in the game, and he took them all the way to
the finals. Stanley Cup final. Yep.
Yeah, got a shot at the Stanley Cup, but they lost to the Capitals in 5 games.
Well, they were an expansion team that did way more than the expectations were.
And I think that a lot of that was down to Fleury being the keeper.
Well, yeah, not Fleury, but also just the fact that their draft picks hit, and they had players from a couple other teams that were pissed off that they were discarded.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you wind up at an expansion team, it's basically because your team says, you're not necessary for our survival. You could wind up there and we wouldn't be too sad about it.
Yeah.
And when you have professional players, when there's money involved, when there's pride involved, you're getting a lot of people who all of a sudden are on the exact same team and have the exact same chip on their shoulder, well, boy, that's a recipe for success.
Yep.
I was gonna say disaster, then I was like,
you're like, wait, that would make sense.
It's not a disaster to wind up in the Stanley Cup Finals, just out of nowhere. So yeah, but credit to Las Vegas. I don't know what they're gonna actually do next year.
Well, hopefully they'll keep those players and sign maybe a couple new ones to get them over the hump. Yeah, good luck to them. I agree with you. All right, so best play was they voted Notre Dame's Arike Ugunbowale, I believe is how you pronounce her name, hits a buzzer beater to win NCAA women's basketball title.
I think it's Erica Ugunbowale. I don't remember. Okay. I remember seeing that. I don't necessarily remember.
Erica, yeah.
I don't remember.
I saw it. It was pretty awesome.
Okay.
It was like Ray Allen's jumper to beat.
Yeah, that's what it did. That's what it did. Honestly, I kind of wanted it to be the Greek Freak, him dunking literally over Tim Hardaway Jr., jumping all the way over him, leapfrogging the dude. I was hoping that would be one. I would hoping that would be the play. I'm reading through this list and I'm like, Ronaldo's bicycle kick versus Juventus. Look here, Ronaldo. I'm mad at you because now you're at Juventus. We don't get to talk about you sinking Juventus in the Champions League anymore. Gareth Bale's bicycle kick in the Champions League final was beautiful. Evanston Township's 80-foot buzzer beater. I remember that. That's what I want.
You want that one?
Mostly because the one above it says LeBron James nails buzzer beater to beat the Pacers, which I'm still sad about. Gosh. Although I think
you know what should have been on there just to troll should have been was it James Harden who did the
the uber nasty step back and wait. 3 different players fell over. Yeah, but when you get crossed up so bad that a dude has time to make eye contact with you on the ground
and watch you get up,
watch you, and then take the shot, game over. Game over.
That was
I would literally look at my coach and be like, "Look, I'm taking myself out. I'm going to the locker room. I'm taking a shower, and I'm hanging up my shoes, and I ain't never doing this again because holy God."
Thinking about the rest of my life.
My entire life flashed before my eyes simply because I was playing a game of basketball.
The fact that he got up and looked back towards the net as he was getting up instead of looking at Harden.
So rude. So rude. I'm sorry, but you know what, James Harden, just for that play alone, 5 respect points.
5+5.
Respect. I had a lot of respect for James Harden. Everybody wants to talk crap about him. Here's the thing. That man was the third wheel at OKC behind Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, right? This dude was coming off the bench because nobody wanted because he couldn't even get into the starting lineup there, okay? And then he leaves first. Never forget that he left first. Got his own team, and now he's out here super MVPing things up. And meanwhile, Kevin Durant went to Golden State, but he's got a ring, so he can't talk too much crap. And Russell Westbrook's just in the back looking real mad because his best teammates have left. And he's like, yeah, I wanted to be the career guy, but nobody tells you that being the career guy at one team makes you look real dumb sometimes to the rest of the league. Because they'll be like, why would you put up with all that crap? Why would you never want to win? Why would you never want to take, X amount of money, this, that, and the other, marketing and all this different kind of stuff? Russell Westbrook, I have a lot of respect for him, man. For sitting at the same team and being like, yeah, I'm going to pull a Reggie. Yeah, I'm going to pull a Kobe. I'm not leaving. We're going to do what we're going to do. And my legacy will be playing for my team. The team that chose me, that gave me the chance in the first place. Because it's not going to happen that way for Harden. And we're obviously not going to remember Kevin Durant for that anymore at this particular point in his career. I have a lot of respect for Russell Westbrook. And I know I started off on James Harden. I got a lot of respect for where James Harden has come from in his game. But I also like the fact that both him and Russell Westbrook are more than willing to, carry their teams by themselves. Whereas Durant, who is capable of such a thing, will not do it on that particular team. He won't do it unless it's necessary. He's not the first option, which is a whole nother conversation about ego and leadership and putting certain things aside so that you can get to your goals of winning games. Got a lot of respect for the man.
So you're going with the 80-footer.
Yeah.
Just that. I just
So yeah. I'm picking a high school 80-foot buzzer beater.
All right. Best moment. Minnesota Vikings defeat the New Orleans Saints in the NFC Divisional Playoff with the Minneapolis Miracle.
Number 16, University of Maryland, Baltimore County upsets number 1 Virginia in NCAA basketball tournament.
That's what you're picking?
Fight me the first time a number 16 seed says down with number 1 and we're not celebrating this? Instead, we're talking about the Vikings in a divisional playoff game? Come on. Put it in context.
Look, the context for this is the way in which it happened. On the final play of the game, on what was essentially a Hail Mary throw that had no chance of getting caught. And the Saints had already thought they were going to win.
Okay, fine.
And the coach of the Saints had trolled the fans 2 plays earlier after they kicked the game-winning field goal with the skull thing. Remember? Peyton turned around and did that after they kicked the field goal. Thinking that they were going to win.
Way to suck.
So,
still, no. No. Close second, but no.
Alright.
No. Sorry. History beats out weirdness every time.
Fair enough.
First number 16 seed. I want to go to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County because they have history on their side.
Who else was on the list?
The other things on the list are the Vegas Golden Knights defeat the Winnipeg Jets to go to the Stanley Cup Finals, and Notre Dame defeats Mississippi State to win NCAA's women's basketball title.
Okay.
Which I could see because I think that was the first time Notre Dame had ever won a women's basketball championship, if I remember correctly. It doesn't say.
Alright, I'll see your 16 seed.
It doesn't know. But yeah, that's why I left that one up there. Okay, the dookie.
Alright.
Best team.
Best team.
So it says Houston Astros up there, right?
It does.
I can get behind that. I can actually get behind that.
Who else? The Golden State Warriors, I'm assuming?
Golden State Warriors are on here. The women's basketball, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The men's basketball, Villanova Wildcats. The champion Capitals. The champion Eagles. The women's ice hockey team. I'm going to go with the Astros. I'm going to go with the Astros for the same reasons I picked them to play the Cubs in last year's World Series, which did not come out the way, or 2 years ago. So I had this really weird moment of clarity in 2012 where I was like, the Cubs and the Astros are gonna play each other in the World Series in 2016, and I was like, everybody's like, okay, we'll see if that ever happens. Fast forward, the Cubs have actually won that World Series, and the Astros were a step away and got there the next year and won it the next year, right? Everybody's just kind of like, why would you even say something like how do you come to that conclusion all that time ago? Because pulling the Astros and the Cubs out of your hat and being like they're both going to the World Series is pretty ridiculous. And
so wait, Houston made the playoffs in 2016.
Right.
Who did they lose to?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Did they lose to Cleveland?
Distinctly possible. 2017 Houston Astros season.
I like that you thought Chicago would beat their curse, but not Cleveland.
No! Yeah! No, well, as a Cubs fan, I have to believe in them.
Oh, okay. Alright, yeah.
As a Cubs fan, I have to believe in them.
You're like, it's too unbelievable that Cleveland could possibly make it to the World Series.
I would actually, if you had actually just stuck me in front of it, at the very beginning of the season, I never would have said Cleveland. Excuse me. They were 84 and 78. They were third in their division. It looks like that year they did not actually make the.
Oh, okay.
They didn't even make the playoffs. And then 2017. Yeah, I think that they won the whole damn thing, right?
Yeah, they won. Yeah, last year.
They didn't win they didn't even go to the playoffs the year before.
So
the thing about the Astros is like when I was reading about the Cubs, and I was reading about all the different players that they were acquiring. I was reading about who Chris Bryant was. I was reading about all these all these scouting reports for Starlin Castro, and they were talking about all these different guys, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Who else is trying to win baseball games this way? And they were like Houston Astros. Houston Astros have cleaned out the Major League Baseball team. They've restructured their entire minor league baseball system, and they're drafting. And it's like, okay, cool. Let's stick them together and see what happens. And I just put it out there because I thought it would be funny. Honestly, I just thought it was funny that people would, because I mean the Cubs were still on the cusp of like losing 100 games, like they were just done. So everybody was just like, okay, Cubs, whatever. But as Cubs Astros, they were just like, no, it'll never happen that way. And then last year it was literally this close from being a Houston Cubs World Series. And honestly, I wouldn't even have been mad if the Cubs had not repeated and lost in the World Series instead of winning 2 in a row. Like, to lose to the Houston Astros, like the only other team to like specifically play that way is to rebuild your entire team, to have a bunch of guys on the team who may or may not fit the mold of a baseball player, like this Jose Altuve player. Like, apparently he's the shortest player in active MLB baseball, and I'm like, I remember when the Phillies were a huge deal, and you had Ryan Howard batting power, but the Flying Hawaiian, what was his name? Shane Victorino. There we go. yeah. Remember they used to call him the Flying Hawaiian.
I remember that.
I'm pretty sure Shane Victorino was like pretty short too, and just having like the different.
Gosh dang it.
Just having the Shane Victorino, Flying Hawaiian, 37 at this point, plays for Boston, former actually, but yeah, it says he's 5'9" and 190. So yeah, Altuve's got a couple of inches to get on him, but at the same time, I'm just here for underdogs. I'm just here for like people who don't necessarily get believed in on a daily basis. So like, yeah, for the Astros to go from like the bumper sticker on the MLB car, you know what I mean? Just like, well, they're there, but
for the Reds.
Yeah, I know, right? You got Houston, but like, why do you for Houston when you could just be a Red Sox fan? Like, like so much easier. Yeah, it is easy to like be a fan of a team that's like guaranteed to win, or like has a legacy of at least trying to win. You know what I mean? Like Boston had the curse too for 90 some years.
Yeah, people are saying like, oh, you can just be a Red Sox fan now after like 90 plus years.
True, because before that happened, because before 2004, they were like, "Oh, you're a Red Sox fan? I feel so sorry for you right now, honey. Like, oh my god."
13 years later, oh, you're a Red Sox fan?
You're a Red Sox fan? Get out of here. Yeah, nobody cares about that trash.
Whereas if you're a Yankees fan, you're like, just instant hate.
I'm sorry, but if you're a Yankees fan, like, I just can't talk. You're a Yankees fan? All right, cool.
You've been successful for the past 7 years.
You just like to win for the sake of winning. That's like, it's like saying you're a Patriots fan. Like, I'm sorry, I can't get behind anybody who's a New England Patriots fan for the exact same reason. Like, you get used to success, and now you just, like, expect it every year. This is why I like being a Cubs fan. Because, yes, we won the World Series. We could go back to winning all of 50 games for the entire season again, and I'd still be the happiest baseball fan in the entire world. I'd still show up to Wrigley Field. I'd still be a Cubs fan, and I'd still be like, yeah, damn right, we're coming back next year. Like, I just like the idea that, like, I like the idea of rooting for a bad team. Like, it's just easier. You show up with less expectations. It feels better when you win. Like, I could never pick a team where it's like, it's pressure, you have to win. And I'm like, I'll take 6.
I thought, yeah, that's what was weird about, I guess, being a Giants fan, because we had this period where we went, we had Barry Bonds for, 10, 15 years, from like 87 to 2002. Yeah. And it was decent. You know, we made the World Series in 2002, but we didn't win. But then went 10 years without really succeeding very much, and then we made the World Series 3 times in 6 years, and won them.
And that was, but that was Bumgarner, that was Lincecum,
and all those Sergio
guys.
Garcia.
Right. Okay. I'm making sure I'm remembering like,
Yeah.
the right players for those.
And so, but it was a weird thing. Like, we weren't really used to success, but then what?
Where are we at on time?
Oh, 3:40.
No, I mean like how long have we been in here?
Oh, been on for about an hour.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so
Yeah, we don't want this to run.
Yeah, sorry.
Over
Okay.
too long. Sorry, we've been distracted.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
we've
I
just
didn't
been
mean to cut you off.
reminiscing. All right, so we'll finish this up and then we'll hit the last news parts of today.
We did have a few points we wanted to actually like stick in here, and then we realized that we've been talking about the SBs for an entire hour.
All right,
We're just
so
gonna have to like pick this apart again.
all right,
Oh man. Okay, so
best NFL player, Tom Brady.
Man, could y'all could have picked the worst person. Lord.
Objectively speaking,
Whatever.
who's on the
Antonio
list?
Brown.
Antonio. Okay, that's a fair point.
Aaron Donald, defensive end for the Rams, and Todd Gurley, the running back for the Rams. Y'all could have picked anybody except Tom Brady.
I'm gonna say Antonio Brown just because.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
I'm picking Antonio Brown for the star power. I'm picking Antonio Brown for the weird ass catches that him and the dude from
Odell Beckham.
Yes, him and Odell just got hands for days.
Yeah, and like without him on the Steelers,
The Steelers are pretty much nothing because Ben Roethlisberger is an average quarterback.
Damn. Oh, hot take.
Okay, let me rewind for a half second. Ben Roethlisberger at this point in his career is average.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Okay, he did go to. Look, he is the reason why Steelers won those Super Bowls early on.
Yeah.
Like, I got you. I see you, Ben. But also, you did get away with sexual assault, and you ain't that great no more. So we got other problems. But Tom Brady, come on.
Best MLB player, Mike Trout.
I would have voted for Altuve or Aaron Judge. Out of the people that are
This
on
early
this list.
on though, in Judge's career.
Aaron Judge, what did he hit, like 50 home runs as a rookie, though? Isn't that his record, is like 50-some home runs as a rookie?
All right, fair enough.
Like,
I didn't know how many home runs he had. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Aaron Judge, 52 home runs by a Major League Baseball rookie. Like, yeah.
All right.
52.
But how many did Mike Trout hit?
I don't know how many Mike Trout hit last year.
But, well,
Still,
I mean, it's a
you know,
combination, though. Like,
that's
Mike
fair.
Trout is able to get on
That's
base.
MLB player.
And, yeah.
Okay. You know what? Yeah. We might have to give that to Mike.
But, well, this is also Aaron. Well, okay, that's a good point. Because I was thinking about before they got Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout was kind of the Los Angeles Angels. Whereas Aaron Judge also has Giancarlo Stanton and, what's his name now? Shoot.
But there was also the fact that they had. He was at the Cardinals for like his entire career. Pujols. Remember Pujols was there in Los Angeles.
Oh,
for a
that's
long
right.
time.
Okay.
And I mean, even though he wasn't nearly as good for the Angels as he was for the Cardinals, which I mean, as a Cubs fan, good riddance. Like, thank you for leaving. Thank you for leaving the division. Oh man. Yeah, I could give that to Mike Trout because he's got the wins above replacement, which is a stat they really like brought about just to like talk about how good he is. And I'm not saying that like the stat doesn't mean anything or anything like that. Like it's good that like baseball is bringing up new numbers, but there's also the fact that like he's ridiculous. Mike Trout is ridiculously good.
Okay.
Mike Trout has been ridiculously good for a really long time.
All right, so I think we've gone over pretty much the big points of the ESPYs. You think?
Yeah.
So
I wanted to make sure we covered this whole Terrell Owens thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, we can. That's part of the news segment.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
all right. So the ESPYs, they're pretty good this year. They had some good segments.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about them. I just wanted to.
We'll post a link to the ESPYs, like the main monologue on our YouTube.
Yeah.
When we post this. All right. So catch up on the news of the day. T.O. is protesting the Hall of Fame?
Terrell Owens, right? Terrell Owens has decided that he does not want to actually be there when they finally induct him into the Hall of Fame.
Yep. Terrell Owens
What a moron!
Is number 2 all-time in receiving yards behind the one and only Jerry Rice.
Maroney.
Okay. And he has set many receiving records in receiving yards, receptions, and touchdowns, but has never won the ring, and neither has Randy Moss, to be fair. But both of them are going to be enshrined this year. This is Terrell Owens' third time on the ballot to get into the Hall, and that is why he's protesting, because he felt disrespected, and he felt that he should have been on in the first ballot.
What a fool.
And he's also feeling, and this feeling has been confirmed, or what's the word? Affirmed by some people, some writers, that the people who do the voting were a bit biased against him for his quote-unquote antics on the field and showmanship about, being over the top, being quote-unquote disrespectful to the game, and how he conducted himself. And so that's why they possibly didn't vote him in on the first time. They could have, and that's why he is now protesting and doesn't want to show up, and instead holding his own Hall of Fame announcement ceremony at his alma mater, University of Tennessee. So that's what's happening. Your thoughts?
God, there's so much. Oh, darn, I'm thinking of the wrong person. So, I was going to go in, and I was going to be like, you know why he's mad? Because they fined him for mooning the crowd. And
nope.
You know what? That was Randy Moss. I was like, it's Randy Moss, not Terrell Owens, so I'm already on the wrong page here. All right, so here's the deal. Terrell Owens and Randy Moss, the more I go back and I look at their numbers, Terrell Owens, by literally like an inch, has him. He's got 1,078 receptions for Terrell Owens versus 982 for Randy Moss. 15,934 yards for Terrell Owens compared to 15,292. Terrell Owens has him in the two biggest statistical categories, which is receptions and yards. Randy Moss has a slightly higher average and has 3 more touchdowns. That's it. That's really the difference between the two. Both of them are going into the Hall of Fame this year. I would literally, you want to talk about super teams in the NFL. They together would have been completely and utterly unstoppable. I wouldn't care if you've got Darrelle Revis and freaking Ty Law back there for a safety. It's not happening. These were two of the greatest receivers of their generation. And Terrell Owens wants to throw that all away because he's salty that he didn't get to, go in 3 years ago? Who cares? How many Hall of Famers actually go in on the first ballot? I'm looking this up, and I'm going to find this out. I want to know exactly how many people go in on the first ballot, the first time that they're actually supposed to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, because I promise you, there are some people with bigger profiles or with bigger problems personally than Terrell Owens, who have or have not gone on the first round. Okay, Terrell Owens can get over himself. He had all these different crazy celebrations. He had all these different weird things that he used to do to get all this attention for himself. And now we're willing to give him our attention, and he's like, nah, bruh, I'm good. I'm gonna make my own Hall of Fame. Ain't nobody gonna be in it, damn it. You went to Tennessee. Peyton went to Tennessee. That was about it. Okay, there's probably a lot more decent NFL players who went to Tennessee. Don't fight me about it. But it's just hilarious to me that he's finally getting what he wants, and he wants to turn his back on it. Like, that's gonna make him look like the bigger or better person. Like, nobody cares. We all know what you wanted, and now we're giving it to you, and now you want to be sad, and you can go be sad elsewhere about it. Meanwhile, we're gonna induct all these dope players into the Hall of Fame, and that's how that's gonna go. So he can be sad if he wants to, but at the end of the day, he's getting what he really wanted. So how mad is he really? That's how I feel about that.
Yep.
What's next?
Okay, well.
I know, we're running over today. We're running way over today, guys. Thank you for sticking around for this whole episode.
Yep. And other NFL news, the NFL and the NFLPA had agreed to freeze the new anthem rule put in place.
Woo!
And they are in discussions now about possibly rewriting it with the NFLPA.
Oh my god. So this one is really simple for me. They're going to have to get over it. And they're going to have to go back to everybody being the way that they want to be. Either, like, if we're really going to have a conversation about about the anthem, then we're just going to have to do ourselves one thing, and we're going to have to recreate we're just going to have to go back and redo the laws, where it's just going to be like, look, either everybody's going to come out and everybody's going to stand for this, and that's going to be the end of the conversation, or the harder thing to do, they're going to have to cut the United States government out of the NFL. They're going to have to cut that contract that we have with the armed forces. We're going to stop having the national anthem being sung at every single game whatsoever. And we're going to let people focus on the game rather than patriotism. Because at the end of the day, this is just a game meant to bring people from all different cultures and nationalities, regions of the world, whatever. You know, this is American football, but people from around the world play it, follow it, watch it. Go back to creating a global product rather than saying we have a global product, but we are in America and we have to act like Americans for it. Like, you're not forced to sing the French national anthem every single time you go play France now that they've won the World Cup. Like, you play the French national anthem and you play your national anthem, right? You know, like, putting all of this extra emphasis on nationalism during the game is distracting everybody from the fact that we can still have a very interesting game. I don't agree with the law as it's written today. I think that if you want people to either stand up for the anthem or not come out at all, congratulations. You've asked for most every team in the NFL to just not come out at all anymore. Like, that's just what's going to happen, because it's going to create a division. You're going to have people who have differing opinions on it. And instead of being fractured one way or the other, and that takes the risk of getting people fined, now everybody's going to have to stay on the inside, and everybody's going to have to deal with those consequences, because staying in the locker room means that it's going to have a certain connotation to people. And players are going to either have to come out and be like, we don't agree with this, or we don't agree with this, which is just going to split your locker room, or everyone's just going to have to keep their mouth shut and play the game, which is what we should have been doing in the first place.
Yep.
Rant over.
Oh, yep. That was brilliant.
It was a lot. But, like, oh my god. It just makes me so upset that we're like, still all over that.
Yep.
What is that?
Well, do you want to move on to the next one?
Next!
The Major League Baseball, Manny Machado has been traded to the Dodgers in exchange for a supplemental draft pick in the I'm thinking about the NBA trade.
The Dodgers acquired Machado from Baltimore in exchange for 5 prospects.
5 prospects, yep, that was it. And Manny Machado is playing in his first or second game right now against the Brewers, and Machado has 2 hits, 1 run, and 1 RBI so far.
And 2 walks.
2 walks.
Yeah, it says he went 2 for 3 and got walked twice in his debut, which is dang good.
Yep.
And that just says something. It just says one thing, is that like Manny Machado is here to win a ring.
Yep.
He is there to win a championship. He has gone to the Dodgers with the express intent of taking them to the World Series, which they got to the championship series last year, right?
They got to the World Series.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They lost.
They were the team that lost the World Series.
Yep.
That's right. Okay. I don't know why. Okay. I thought the Cubs had gone back, and I was just remembering we just had this conversation. The Cubs did not go back last year.
Right.
It was the Dodgers that took them out. Dodgers have a full-on chance.
The Dodgers are in the lead in their division right now.
What are they? 54, 44?
Yep.
What's their game difference? Oh, it's just one.
Just one game difference.
But
so it's a tight division down there in the West.
Yeah, and they're only like 3 or 4 games behind the Cubs for the best record. The Braves are 53 and 42. By win percentage, yes, the Cubs. But it's all like the National League at the top is always pretty close, because especially since last year you had like the entirety of the NL Central up there. Manny Machado just makes them that much more dynamic. He can bat pretty much anywhere in the top of your order. He obviously brings a lot of power. Machado is a move that you make when you want to win, and I'm not sure why he would leave Baltimore for that. Hang on, Baltimore in the AL East. Where are they in the AL East? Are they doing any better than... No, they're at the bottom. Ew. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good reason. That's a good reason to leave. Oh, man.
They're 40 and a half games back.
I'm sorry. I've been watching the World Cup. I don't know what's going on in baseball. Dang, the Orioles are bad.
Baltimore has the worst worst record in baseball at 28 and 71.
Ouch. Wait, the Reds are better?
The Reds are the best of the worst. They are 43 and 55.
Whoa.
They are 14 and a half games back from the Cubs.
Okay. That's not awful.
Yeah, no, they're...
I mean, comparatively, that's not awful.
Yeah, they're only... Yeah, 14 games back. So...
Works for them.
Yeah.
Although, currently, it looks like Pittsburgh is leading the Cincinnati Reds 9-2 in the bottom of the ninth. So
well...
Cincinnati are on their last out. Let's see if they can rally 7 runs, guys.
Pirates are 9-1 in their last 8 games. Oh, Pirates are on an 8-game winning streak. Man. Dang. The Rockies are on a 7-game winning streak. Wow.
It's not even. Alrighty.
All right. Well, let's see. Next up, Red Sox, Yankees fighting for first in the AL. So yeah, Red Sox have put a bit of a space between them and the Yankees. Red Sox have 4.5 games ahead of the Yankees, and Cleveland's in their lead by 9.5 games, and Houston's in their lead by 6 games. So yeah, it looks like if the season were to end now, it would be Boston, Houston, and Cleveland at the top, followed by the Yankees and Seattle fighting in the wild card. So,
well, we are past the All-Star break, so baseball is definitely going to get moved back up my radar, and we're going to do the long drive into the playoffs. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got the NFL season that's going to be coming up in about a month and a half. We got football, which will never be out of style. The season starts next month. I just read that I believe Bayern won the ICC Futures Championship, which doesn't mean much. It's just preseason, but Bayern probably gonna win again.
Let's see, Hall of Fame weekend is Thursday, August 2nd. Is the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, so we're not that far away.
Chicago and Baltimore.
Not too far away.
On NBC. That's 2 weeks from now.
That sounds like a...
Wow! That sounds like a live event for the Indoorfins, doesn't it? Ow, that hurt.
Catch us live
Yep.
Thursday, August 2nd for a live broadcast. Chicago versus Baltimore. The preseason special.
Bears.
Bears.
Bears. Okay.
Bears. Bears. Okay. All right, ladies, gents, and everybody in between. Is that all we got today?
I believe so.
That is all we have today. Don't forget to follow us on all of your favorite social media. On Twitter, we are the Indoorfins Podcast at Real Indoorfins. We are the Indoorfins Podcast 317 on Facebook. We are the Indoorfins Podcast Indianapolis on YouTube. And on everybody's seemingly favorite, we are the Indoorfins Podcast 317 on Instagram. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share with all of your friends. We will be back next Sunday with another live edition of
the Indoorfins.
Thank you so much. We will see you in the next podcast.
VIP.